is to review and approve the minutes of the August 13th meeting. We do not have those minutes today, so we're going to have to table them until next time, due to the fact that Mr. Flower had surgery and he's in the hospital and he didn't complete them. Number 2 is to review and approve the select board pay orders. 3, review and approve timesheets for the highway department, town clerk's office, and Mr.'s office. Doesn't look like we have any public concerns, so I'm going to go right to Matt Mann from Wyndham Regional Commission, and he's going to speak on the Route 100 scenic byway. Matt?
So, I don't know who's familiar with the scenic byway the scenic byway program in the state of Vermont. I think right now there are 7 scenic byways designated. The one that is of federal designation is the Connecticut River Byway, which starts at the Mass-Vermont border, and it's actually one of the few byways that's bi-state, so it's New Hampshire and Vermont, and it runs all the way up to the Canadian border. And right now, what's happened is, I believe Lou has been in touch with Linda Anelli from the town of Dover. There's been a movement to look at connecting this portion of Route 100 to the already designated Route 100 scenic byway that starts just north of Weston and ends in Pittsfield in Two Rivers Attaquiche Regional Planning Commission. And now the first step in terms of designation of the scenic byway is to go to each town along the proposed designated route and present and address any, answer any questions, address any concerns about the scenic byway program, and then in the end obtain a support letter to keep the process moving. And then the next step from there would be to develop a corridor management plan, which would look at all the, and that would be myself and the committee reviewing it and looking at the entire proposed designated corridor, which would be from essentially Stamford in Bennington County on the Vermont-Mass line, going all the way up Reedsboro, Whitingham, Wilmington, Dover, Wardsboro, Jamaica, and then going through Londonderry and Weston. So it would be, if anything, it's a good opportunity to actually have a wide, kind of 30,000-foot view of the corridor itself, and then ideally getting the designated portion of Route 100 as well, and then connecting it with the northern designated portion, but then also having it overlap in Wilmington with the Molly Stark byway that runs along Route 9 from Bennington to Brattleboro. And I don't know if, do you guys have any questions, or, like off the top of your head, or do you want me to keep going? Wasn't sure.
What would we have to do as a town of Jamaica?
Right now, it would be just a formal letter of support for the scenic byway, for designation of Route 100 that goes through Jamaica to be designated as a scenic byway. And what the byway program does is that it promotes the cultural, historical, essentially the intrinsic qualities of the corridor. So highlighting a lot of historic, recreational, and cultural attributes within Jamaica along Route 100, Jamaica State Park, and other cultural amenities and recreational amenities that would be highlighted within the corridor management plan. And then once designated, then it goes onto the state's website, where it would essentially, a number of travelers that look to visit Vermont tend to go onto the website and actually seek out scenic byways. So it becomes as much of a economic generator as well as a tourist and generator as well. So it's, and then it also again highlights, formalizes what you guys already know and what makes Jamaica special in terms of the intrinsic qualities. So right now, I do just recently, based on the new federal transportation bill that was adopted, MAP 21, scenic byways was, for all intents and purposes, not funded on the federal level. And that is going to carry over for the next 2 years. So it could change in the next 2 years. Now what I mean by funded, other byway programs throughout the state have, once you see designation, then you're able to apply for federal dollars to improve your byway in any way you see fit. What Molly Stark has done is that they've gone out and they've gotten trailblazing signs that have alerted the traveler that you're on the Molly Stark Byway, and then they've also had located eight interpretive sites, where I don't know if you've been on Route 9 probably in the last 3 or 4 years, but it's those obelisk structures in between Bennington and Brattleboro, and it's essentially a pull-off area for interpretive information around that area where the obelisk is. So Bennington and Brattleboro are flanking both of the end and the beginning points of the byway, and then there's 4 in the middle. And so that's money that they applied for, they got, and that's the money that is now essentially on hold. So with the designation, you do get the marketing aspect, but in terms of any type of improvement, at least in the short term, that's still questionable right now from a federal standpoint. Now from the state standpoint, it's possible that there could be some funding available to do some additional marketing for the byways. But I would definitely encourage you guys to go on the byways website. It's on the VTrans's website. You just Google VTrans byways or Vermont byways, and it'll show up. It's a pretty good website. VTrans staff does keep track of the hits. I think up to date it's 8,000 hits this year. So it's frequented enough to where people are seeking out the byways, and I think many people seek it out because they understand a designated scenic byway is designated for a reason. It's not just any road. If you're driving through Vermont, you want to make the most of your time, and so if the road has scenic designation, then there was some thought and a process that was included in that. And that being the case, then they'll travel those roads as well. So to date, actually Linda Anelli's in Stanford tonight, getting their support, requesting their support letter. But to date, Wilmington, Dover, Wardsboro, and I believe Stanford all signed. They're waiting for Reedsboro. And then the next step would be to go to Londonderry and Weston.
I think you meant Stratton, not Stanford
Stratton, yeah, that's
Right.
Stanford, yeah.
Right, because you already said the Stanford signed along.
Yeah, Stratton.
Even though Stratton only has a very small part of 100.
Yeah, yeah. So it would be then meeting with Londonderry and Weston.
A couple of things. My first question would be, do the people who make maps, like AAA and the like, do they look at this website for information for their maps and would designate this like all along a hard copy map, do you think?
It's possible. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know how far it goes out to those particular
The reason I say that is many times when I've traveled before websites were in vogue,
Yeah.
I would look at a map and I would say, well, where are the scenic byways? I would travel that route if I could, because I'm thinking I've got a higher chance of seeing better quality scenery.
Yeah.
Be interested to know if
Yeah.
the maps would look at this.
Yeah, I can follow up with you on that. It's a good question. See how far it reaches out. Now, the Vermont Scenic Byway Program does have brochures that they've printed out to the degree that it highlights. You open it up and there's a map of all of the designated scenic byways within Vermont, and then it has a blurb on each byway. I think most of the byways now have the little pull-out maps that you can stick in your pocket that actually shows you the designated route, so that you're not pulling out a big map and trying to.
And where are those available, like for us, if we wanted to keep some here?
For
If we, when it,
yeah, well, typically they're housed either in the chamber, or in Brattleboro they'd be housed in the Waypoint Center.
the Welcome Center there?
Yeah.
All right, so people do know that they're there, and when they stop, they can look.
Yeah, and those are actually the ones that they have to fill up the most. Is the little maps that show you the Molly Star
Right.
or Stone Valley. Those are a hot ticket.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions?
Well, I want to point out one thing.
Okay.
Matt did mention one discussion he had with Londonderry. I think I brought it up at the last meeting, where they were concerned about its impact on land use, and Matt had an answer for that, which I didn't have for you last week. So Matt, would you?
Yeah, the Select Board of Londonderry, when this was first discussed 2 years ago, was concerned about the impacts of the designation of scenic byway to the land use regulations, and there have been at least one that I know of court cases in Vermont where it was decided that the designation had no effect and will not have any effect on any land use regulations. So it has no authoritative standing in Vermont statute. It is a designated road, but outside of that, it has no regulatory authority or any other authority to change or to warrant any changes to land use regulations. So that the concern was that if that scenic byway happens, then there couldn't be any development along Route 100 in Londonderry, and that is not the case. So.
Why wouldn't the town? Because why would we impose something like that?
What's that?
Why would a town oppose what you're proposing?
Well, I think for maybe a misunderstanding of what we just discussed in terms of land use regulation. But it's my understanding throughout Vermont, there hasn't been a whole lot of opposition to the byway program or designation of it. It's getting the players or the towns involved and then actually going through that process of getting designated. It's a pretty big hurdle. and it's a lot of organization, it's a commitment from the towns involved and the Regional Planning Commission to undertake the corridor management plan and identifying the intrinsic values of the corridor, and then submitting the application for designation. So it's not so much, I don't think it's opposing it, it's just really organizing it with the towns that would like to be, or that would be involved in the potential designation, along with other stakeholders like the Regional Planning Commission.
Along with your formal letter of intent to support, is there anything else that the town, say we decided to go with this, that you would need or from us?
Not now,
Okay.
but once the letters of support are all obtained, then definitely as the process moves forward and beginning with that corridor management plan, working with the town on getting those intrinsic qualities identified within the town plan, and then other intrinsic qualities that might not have made it to the town plan.
Okay.
And I would like to say that there is the annual byway conference is in Manchester on September 13th, and if you're so inclined to go, I think it starts at 9 o'clock. And, it's going to showcase, I think, more. I think this year it's going to be the economic development that byways bring to the towns along designated byways. So it's right in your backyard.
That's close, they kind of put
Yeah.
something close by.
I think it's at the Hilding.
Everything, oh, okay, that's a nice place.
So I think you're looking for a letter of support from us.
Yes, yeah, what is your pleasure?
I think I'd like to move that we submit a letter of support to the regional commission, or is it to the?
Yeah.
Okay.
To the Wyndham Region?
Yeah.
Okay.
We submit a letter of support stating our intent to support the scenic byway project. I think that would be good.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? No? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion carried. A letter of support will be forwarded as soon as possible to you. Should it be to your attention, or?
Sure.
I think there were some sample letters that we've already received, that Wilmington's letter and
That we can
Dover's
look at?
letter.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
can use as
Scan
samples.
it, yeah.
Okay.
I'll scan it and send it over to you.
Okay, yeah, or to the town, yeah, wherever.
Or to the
Or just forward on tap, maybe.
Well, forward it to me, and then I'll make sure it gets to,
Okay.
yeah.
Yep. And feel free to call me with any other questions that may or may not pop in, or may pop into mind in the near future.
Thank you very much.
Right.
That's very
Thank you.
informative, thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Have a safe day. Okay, number 6, NRCS project JAMA 11-010, Losterman property. Open the bids with provisional award approval by the NCRS. We have 2 bids that have come in here.
Before you open bids, I'd like to
Yeah.
mention something.
Go ahead.
I got a call from Dale Amidon, Wesley Amidon,
Mhm.
at 5 o'clock. He had not been able to get his bid in by 4. I suggested that he bring it and put it into the mailbox out there, and that I would let you as a group know that it came in about 5 o'clock, and it's up to you whether you would like to accept that bid or disqualify that bid.
Okay, well, according to our information that went to the paper, our bid request, it just said it had to be received on today's date. There's no date, no time. So I feel that both bids in a timely fashion.
Thank you.
Is Wesley's right there?
Wesley's is here, and
Okay.
another one is right here. Okay, it does have the necessary NRCS JMA 11-010 Worcesterman, and the NRCS JMA 11010 on this one. I'm going to ask, you will pass these down just to look, to make sure that's done properly, please. The envelopes.
I don't know what it's for.
Oh, that's right, sorry. Okay, I'm going to have Andy open,
Who are they from, Hamden, and what's the other one?
Barkus Excavating,
and they're from where?
Reedsboro, Vermont.
We
How do
can,
you spell that?
Barkus Excavating.
They're the only two that bid on it?
yes.
That's it.
There was quite a few people there.
There was quite a few people at the,
I might want to point out that I wasn't there at the showing, but there was some question as to whether they were going to be using granite blocks or concrete blocks or cement blocks. And that question wasn't answered until, I think, the middle of last week. So I don't know if that might have affected somebody's ability to get their bid in on time. As we always do, whenever we change something during the course of a bid, we let all the people who have asked for plans or who participated in the bid they get the updates. But just wanted to let you know, we do have the option, if we decide that 2 bids is not enough, we have the option of rebidding this if we think that we want more than 2 bids.
there were 11 folks that came to the signing.
What was the date of that?
The signing?
Yeah, was that when you were away?
I must have been away. I don't know, there's no date on this.
Was that today?
Pardon me? Yes,
The day I was here.
yes,
Okay.
that was the
Oh,
day.
that was that Friday,
I can't
I can't remember what day it was, okay.
There were a lot of people there.
Okay, I'll have Andy open up the first one, Barkus, and I'll make sure Susie has that spelled right.
Fancy pen.
No.
Okay, this is from Barkus Excavating, LLC. And we propose to hereby furnish material, labor, and equipment complete in accordance with the above specifications for the sum of $65,250.
Look at that. Pass that down to Lord.
Are the NRCS projects require the per item breakdown the way that people
No.
use it?
Does mention the date, August 22nd, so we did get the latest revisions. Okay,
Okay, you want to give me this phone, please? This is Hammond Construction.
Chair, just mentioned this is from Hamilton Construction LLC. It simply says excavating bid for Jamaica 11-010 Westland Project, Coleman Hill Road. Cost $42,500.
Could you pass it down?
Can I see the first bid? Like the first one.
While Andy's reading that, does anybody feel that we should request more bids for this project or accept one of these two?
Do we have a engineer's estimate for this
It's 56,000.
in between the two?
Okay.
I don't
This
see.
bid just has a little more detail on what he was going to do.
Yeah. But that's not necessary.
Right. That was just his, a courtesy on his part.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm looking this over, I don't see any reason to not support the low bid in this case.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I would move that we support the low bid. We select, seeing no reason to not.
I would make it contingent upon NRCS approval.
Right.
Right, yeah, of course, yep.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion approved. And that was 42,500 for Andy, and it was based on the approval.
Support what it can, contingent on what, who support, who support what was it?
NRCS, it's right.
NRCS, okay.
NRCS.
Okay, okay.
Thank you.
I should mention from the standpoint of understanding the scope of the work, I did see a project that Wesley had done up in Stratton, which is very similar to this project. I think it required 2 or 3 levels of concrete blocks before sloping up. So I'm pretty sure we understand the scope of what the work needs to be done.
260 blocks to be exact.
So you work on that project?
Weren't fun.
Are they concrete blocks or they?
Yeah.
They were concrete, yeah.
Now what about that discussion of concrete versus,
Well,
block?
I think from an aesthetic point of view, we felt that the granite would look better
Yeah.
because it's a natural stream. But
Yes.
the cost of granite was just
Yeah.
overwhelming compared to cost of cement. So,
Yeah.
Plus, they can only bring, on a tractor trailer, they can only bring 12 blocks at a time.
Oh,
cement blocks.
Yeah. Granite's probably heavier.
Yeah.
wow. Sound like it makes sense to me.
Okay, next on the agenda is number 7. Discussion outside audit. An outside audit will be necessary due to the funds that we received from FEMA. And so, I think maybe we could work with Wardsboro Townsend because they're gonna have to have independent outside certified public accountants do their audit. We could find out if maybe like Powers and Sullivan did our huge audit, but it wouldn't have to be so intense to do a smaller one and see who's gonna do theirs, maybe work a deal out. And then work with the 3 towns and get that done. I don't know, what is your thinking of
Yeah,
that?
I think that's a good idea.
Anybody talk to the other towns yet, or?
Terry has talked with Townsend and Wardsboro, and they're looking into, VLTC has sent, like a boilerplate, she has it right here, request for proposals for audits, so that we can,
But I mean,
I'm sorry,
is Wattsboro and Townsend and whoever else, have they talked to them about seeing if we can get them all together?
No, we haven't gone that far yet.
Oh,
They just talked to the town clerks, treasurers together to see if that would be feasible, and then, see what happens, and then do the proposals. We could either pick one or go to more than one.
So we're gonna put out an RFP then? We're gonna ask multiple accounting firms to submit that form?
Well, Sullivan and Powers seems to do a lot of municipalities, and since they just did ours not too long ago, and I think they I don't know if they've done Woodsboro and Townsend too. Terry's gonna check on that, and because they have everything in their computer that we have here, so it might make it easier. But if they don't, then we can go to different firms to see what it is. But we'll bring that up to the board when Terry gets more information on it.
Really, yes, how much something like this costs?
Possibly maybe a couple $1,000.
We had a full audit done
We had-
last year. How much of that?
That was 17,000.
17,000.
$17,000 for audit.
Full audit.
Now, we statutorily do that every 2 years, or how's that?
We have our in-house audit folks who do it every year.
Yeah.
And we hadn't had an outside audit done in many years, but since we were getting a new town clerk, everything was changing. We had a complete outside audit. I guess, I don't know when their last one was. I don't know by statute if we have to have an outside one.
But this is connected to the fact that we
That we
receive
receive,
federal funds.
we receive federal funds, so we
Gotcha.
have to have the outside audit.
Will FEMA reimburse the cost of the outside audit?
Paul?
Probably not, but
Do they allow a less than full audit, or does FEMA require a full audit?
I don't know. That's further questions for Terry
Yeah, that's a good
to
question.
find out.
Because I mean, you're suggesting that we don't need a full audit, perhaps.
That's what
But
Terry.
we gotta make
thinks.
sure that we don't have this partial audit.
That's what Terry thinks. It's just it doesn't have to be a full audit, but just to come in, but it has to be rather than in-house, outside certified public accounts come and do an audit.
Sure.
Like they would do, say you have them come every year, do that.
And they're looking solely at the federal monies, or they look across the board?
I think they look across the board
Oh,
to see where, what's coming in, what's gone out, where things are going. And it'll keep everybody up and up.
I think that's a good idea.
So
And
as
there's
I,
no money going to the town right now, but
right,
there's everything.
there's a lot of money. As of today, and Terry's gonna email this sheet to you, we have received $2,169,370.66. Did you get that? 2,169,370.66. But she's gonna email out this to you, to everybody, so you can have that.
Do we know how much we've spent so far?
That, I don't know,
She said it's pretty close.
probably,
Yeah,
I'm sure it is. I think,
we're approaching that amount.
Have we paid back any of our loan, or are we still?
no, the loan comes due in November, and I believe we're going to, depends on what the select board decides, but she's gonna ask if we just pay the interest.
We have another $2 million, or at least, of projects
Just in case we need the money,
Exactly.
coming
this
up.
way we won't have to reapply for the line of credit. Pay the interest.
We'll be able to get a lot of that money back, because as we spend it, we can retrieve it, but we don't have the money to spend to start with.
Right, so we need that,
Yeah,
we need that
we'll
line
need
of
that.
credit. So that's where that stands right now. Hopefully it'll get better. I keep my fingers crossed. And Paul knows that very well. He's losing hair
Eyes.
as we speak. I pull it out every day. Sorry.
Your eyes will cry, so.
Oh, we should put that on.
Okay, next, we have an agreement for entry and construction, Town of Jamaica, and Stephen, and I hope I don't butcher this word too bad, Putner, P-U-E, and Stevens with a V, P-U-E-T-N-E-R, and David, D-L-E-G-E-R-E, 1440 Pikes Falls Road for the repairs. And they have signed it, both folks, landowners have signed it, it's been witnessed. It just needs the select board chair to sign it.
What's that for, Alexa?
It's to
These are
gain
temporary
entry,
easements.
temporary, like to gain entry while they're working on the road or property there, so that we
Okay,
can
so
go on their
we're
property.
asking for their permission to work on.
To work on their property, is
Is it
that correct,
temporary?
Brian?
Where is that?
Yeah.
1440
Yeah, but where?
Pikes Falls Road,
It's-
P-U-E-T-N-E-R and Laguerre.
I don't know where that is.
It's
You know where PF5 was at, where the rock crusher?
1440 Pikes Falls Road.
That's where it is. They own that property, where the rock crusher area, that whole area.
Oh, okay.
So it's just to probably put a machinery on their property or something like that.
To access, because they have to fix the road, PF5, not the rock crusher anymore, but the road thing.
It's a temporary construction easement for installation of culvert 11.5 outlet with head wall at STA 42 plus 90, 30 feet offset route to 43 plus 10, 30 feet offset route. Rebuilding embankment at STA 43 plus 55.00, 25 feet offset.
Yeah, sure.
You don't have to do all this, because I have no idea what we're doing.
All that STA is a station.
Station,
If you look
okay.
on the map, it'll be a station point.
Okay, all right, at these station points, and also to occupy the premises for the purpose of constructing the Pikes Falls Road washout repairs. So it just needs our signature. What is your pleasure?
I would certainly move that we
That the chair signs.
that you sign it, yeah.
Okay, do we have a second?
Sure.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried.
Which one is it? What the rock crusher is?
Line.
PF5.
Stones.
Just before it's struck.
Forest Ross, yeah, that's a good, yeah, before this one.
Okay, next we have the from VLTC, their notification of their annual business meeting, which is going to be held October 4th, 2:15 to 4:30 p.m. in Essex Junction. It needs a delegate from the board to be able to be a voting, if they go to the meeting to vote on what's going on. You don't have to you don't have to attend the meeting, but we do need somebody that's designated. Lou, were you designated?
I went to the one 3 years ago, and it was very interesting. I'd encourage any of you, if you're interested in going. They have an exhibit room where there's a number of people selling things or showing what they can do or whatever.
So it's Thursday, October 4th. I can try to go on the calls, probably busy with.
October 4th?
Yeah, that's pretty full.
Yeah, October 4th.
Did you want to go again?
No, I think going once is good. I don't,
Going once is good,
I
okay?
don't know.
Andy,
Some
or-
chance.
I may be able to
You
go
may
back
be able to
before
go?
October.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay, Andy, if you know,
I want to
If
go.
something comes up that I don't think I'll be able to make, I'll
just
let you
call,
know.
okay, all right. Andy said he would like to be a representative, so I would suggest that. Andy is a representative for the LTC.
Excellent.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
so. Did you get all that? Okay, all right, so. Thank you, Andy.
Well,
Now we just have information, doesn't need any signatures, I checked this all out. This is a change order request, number 1, and it is for the work on project site WJR3, where the steep embankment has eroded and continues to erode on West Jamaica Road. We talked about it at our last meeting. And it's just to add that to it, the change order. Phase 1 and 2, the total amount would be $15,590.
That was an estimate
That was an estimate, right,
He said it'd be less.
right. So in the change order, we put in his estimate,
Right.
and then if it's less, hopefully it'll be less.
Is this an administrative thing for FEMA?
We have
Paul
to,
should be able to answer this.
yeah, we have to put in a change of scope request.
So,
And the tricky part about this is the timing of it all, because this appeared on our horizon as a problem. It did not appear in time for us to do a quote timely unquote change of scope. And so Bob and I right now are currently putting together a letter that explains in detail how things flow. We're going to submit that for a change of scope. The way the rules read, if you are going to change a change of scope that involves a change in expenses, you have to let the state know. We, as a select board, agreed we needed to change it whether the state likes it or not, or wants to pay for it or not, because it has to be on a particular roads. And we're going to go ahead forward with a change of scope request. It's very involved. Bob did a lot of research on it. We have to come up with a whole list of supportive documents to put it together.
I thought that were a FEMA thing though.
What do you mean? Well, no, they're not going to handle the wash, the cliff, but to protect the culverts, to protect the road. That's the change of scope. Because they won't do the slope, correct?
Right.
Yeah, but we're trying to ask them to protect the culverts.
so what you're saying is that we've already authorized our people to do the work.
Yeah,
We're now trying to authorize a change so that perhaps FEMA might fund it.
yes.
Right, yes.
That's where we are.
So I would move that we authorize that change of scope.
Do you have a second? No?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. All right. That's the- Next on the agenda is, we received a letter from Larry and Christine Hess, Hesse, and Bill and Mary Matty, Mattei. Their property is on Hemlock Hill. And Hemlock Hill is where?
Sheldon Hill. That's the one I brought up a couple of weeks ago. Said that
Okay.
they were gonna send a letter.
Okay, these folks have sent the town a letter to ask to give up, that the town give up the rights as a town trail and just serve as a driveway for the residents. I'll just read this quickly to you. We ask this because in the last few years we have seen a lot of traffic on the trail driveway because there's no marking that it is a dead end or private drive. This traffic in spring mud season has caused damage to the road that we alone maintain. Hesses have also been robbed once and would like to prevent unsavory people from gaining access to their property and possessions in a time when there have been many break-ins. There is still full access to a snowmobile trail that runs through the Hess property to the trail access in Sheldon Hill. The Hesses enjoy snowmobiling and have no wish to close the vast trail that also runs through the property. They just don't want people snowmobiling over their lawn, gardens, and skating pond. If the town gives up the trail, the residents of Hemlock Hill plan to construct a wooden stone gate to help ensure security and provide the residents with peace of mind. The gate will be constructed with a siren activation feature so that local fire departments will still have full access to the dry hydrant located at the pond. The caretaker will also be able to allow access to both properties for town assessments or inspections. Thank you for considering this matter. I did have a note from Pat Millman's on this, just before we go through. She feels that giving up the trail, they shouldn't give it up because it's an emergency route for transport in case we have to evacuate people, such as last year during Hurricane Irene, and stuff like that. And that was her note she wanted me to relay to the rest of the board. Does anybody have any?
There's only those two guys up there?
Is it just those two people, those two homes?
Yeah, the only ones you're gonna rescue is them.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I had to,
Yeah.
Right.
somebody said interest, so,
I can show it to you on the map if you want.
I'd like to see it.
okay.
One of the things I should mention to you, at the Transportation Committee meeting that I attend to monthly at the Wyndham Region Commission, they tell you how many miles of road you have in every town, how many miles of town trails. And we have, by far, more miles of town trails than almost any other town around. So it's kind of an interesting thing to know.
Well, I mean, I would object if there was other landowners that, for some reason, could go through there, but they completely surround it. And I'm not saying I'm for it, but I really don't see a big objection, seems how they own everything.
My understanding of town trails versus private right-of-ways is that the public have a right to use a town trail for things like snowmobiles, four-wheelers, dirt bikes, and the like. Whereas if it's private property, they don't. So I guess the question is, like, we've had situations in the past where we've had people causing a lot of noise with their recreational vehicles. So I guess my question is do we want to close a particular section off because they want it as a driveway for their own maintenance, or are we restricting the right of our other people to use that property? I guess that's my dilemma. Part of me says I think we might want to have fewer town trails because the noise level can get out of control with a lot of town trails. Part of me says I like the idea of town trails because it gives the public the ability to get into the woods. So I guess I'm kind of in a dilemma there.
They talk about vast, so apparently the vast trail goes, is
Yes,
that part of that trail?
It doesn't go on that one.
Okay,
There's one on their property that it
it
goes
says it
on.
runs through their property.
okay, but that's
And
not on
that's
that
out of
trail.
their, they give permission for VAS to use their,
Yeah, they don't even want to touch that trail.
no.
And that's a town trail also.
But anyone who rides the VAS trails, they're not supposed to go off those.
Right, you're not supposed to go on the trails anyway, but they do.
Is that Corridor 10 or whatever, the Wardsboro Pathfinder Trail, or? That wouldn't be on there. But another thing was, is that somewhere where someone would be rescued if there was a snowmobile accident, or is it just a real secondary trail?
It's a,
If it's 10, it is like not a main corridor.
we have the numbers.
I thought it was right, we looked it up earlier today, I was thinking it was down here. You had access from Mooresboro.
Right.
They're not listed there, are they?
No, they're not listed. I think it's this one. I think.
I think this is what,
Yeah. All the way down.
Hang on a second, I got another copy of the book.
So that's the trail you're talking about?
Yeah.
so their house
This
is
is
where?
I think this is Black Bear Road. And that one comes through, and that's the snowmobile trail. They don't want to touch that.
And where are their houses here?
One house is like here, and one house is like here.
But they access their house from what?
From what, off from Sheldon Hill. This
No,
way.
did you say this is Black Bear, so this is west?
Right, this is Sheldon Hill.
Yeah, no, but this is where
That's
the
West
trail
Bear
goes.
Road.
This is where that trail goes, you just said Black Bear,
That's Black Bear.
right here, okay.
It's that little spur off of the Black Bear extension.
And then
So Black Bear comes out here.
Black Bear's here, and then the trail they're talking about
This one here.
Is this one.
is this one here. So people,
They drive in from Sheldon Hill, and they come up to their house. And,
So the public would still have the ability to use this trail?
oh yeah,
Is that the
yeah,
Bass Trail?
that's the Bass Trail.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Their private drive, well, their maintained private drive is up to like here. Actually, it's on a high peak here, and they can look down on this trail.
But it would take a real rough all-terrain vehicle to get
From this one to this one.
from that.
Yeah, they maintain from here up to, we'll say like here,
Mhm.
and then their road keeps going up to here, and that's what people do. They drive in, and driveway turns like that. And there's another house here. And so you can see this trail going down through, but it's in the pucker weeds. So pretty much,
Now, when you say the vast trail, is that most of the snowmobiles?
yeah,
That's all.
you can't use
No four-wheelers, bicycles, anything.
horses, nothing.
It's because it's too rough for that?
Well, that's a town trail, so you can, it's whatever the town decides.
Right, but it's kind of great. A lot of people probably don't know that they can run their four-wheelers and
Yeah.
snow that goes on that.
But I think the vast trail does follow that one. Then it comes this way. And like my house is, right there where that 35 is or something.
As far as snowmobilers, if they're
Oh, okay.
not on the Bass Trail and they're riding anybody's property, they're supposed to carry a written permission.
Right.
Even if they're
But
on a
that
town
town trail,
trail?
I don't know.
Not if they're on a town trail.
Town trail, they can go on any time.
Because we had that situation with the dirt bikes a number of years ago.
So, okay, so this is the blue data of the trail, right? Your house is somewhere over here? So she's-
The house is like up
Oh,
on,
closer-
this is uphill,
okay,
pretty
so
steep.
closer to
Up here.
that trail.
Well, that's right down over a steep bank, but they can actually see it
Okay, so people come up
from in here,
here,
and they drive up in here, and it's a town trail, so there's no turnaround plow, town don't plow it.
right,
It's just a road,
so people go into their yard and kind of,
well, they drove in and stole a whole bunch of stuff one time.
So what would happen? The people who own this property would deed a right of way to the people who own that?
No, they're both names
both
are on
names
it.
are on it.
But somebody will have, that will eventually be somebody's property.
This and this, they own it all.
One of the property owners do, or both of them?
There's two people on that.
Right. So on deed,
No,
on the road.
two landowners.
So one of them must own either right up to that and the other one owns on the other side. Or one of them owns this and he's gonna give the right of way to the people who.
Yeah,
That would be the problem.
yeah, that'd be,
Well, you can't landlock anybody
right,
legally.
right. But they're both
There's no signatories to the request.
for both of them.
Would it be a benefit for us to give it up or not give it up? What would be best?
It doesn't affect the town.
Yeah, my concern is that we don't shut off the public from an area where they might need, for recreation want to get to. However, it seems like the public still has access.
So where's
And they're
this
probably
one
gonna-
here?
On Sheldon Hill,
Oh,
too.
okay. So there's two of them that come up through there. Two trails
Yes.
off of Sheldon Hill.
This is actually, a road comes to, like right in here, then it turns.
Mhm.
I wouldn't mind going and looking at it before we make a decision.
Okay,
I went up and looked at it, but,
yeah.
and I don't care one way or the other.
Yeah.
I
I'd like to.
just feel a little bit
Okay, you can go up.
bad that they can't put a gate up and protect their property, that's the only thing.
Great, I understand where they're coming from.
And Warner Mansky, who's the caretaker, said they don't care if people walk up there. That doesn't bother them a bit.
Right,
It's just they drive up with their pickups.
so they're second homeowners.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if they've had some crime up there anyhow, that's a good reason. If they've got a history of having been robbed, they've got a good
Well,
reason.
Pretty, I mean,
Kind of
it's
remote.
like right out in the boondocks.
Yeah.
I mean, you could walk around there for a week and go and never see it, but they didn't come off.
Okay, we request that we go and look at it.
Yeah. That's the reason.
So I think we'll table this request for now and bring it up at our next meeting after we've inspected
Sure.
the town trail.
It'd be better to contact Warner Mansky
Okay,
when you're gonna go up, and then he can explain where everything is.
yep.
He's a caretaker.
Yeah, I know. I know him, so I'll give him a call and we can make arrangements and whoever wants to go up.
Like I said, I don't care one way or another. I just feel
Mhm.
kind of bad that, they maintain the road, then someone drives up there and muddies it all up in the spring.
Now, here's another little bit more detailed map. It shows the roads in Wardsboro leading up to it. I don't know if you're interested in seeing this.
So he just wants this piece here, though, right?
Is he on this thing called Stargaze Lane or Hemlock Hill Road?
Hemlock Hill.
If that's the piece he's on, there's a lot of, plenty of other stuff to go on.
So it looks like there's like a little bit of a complex here.
Well, this is all in Wadsboro, right?
Right.
Okay.
But it sounds like this is like a big, there might be like 30 or 40 homes in here, or 10 homes.
Not up where they are.
No, but I mean just in this whole little area.
Oh, it's a development.
It's a development.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they're on the end of that development. And is this that snowmobile trail you were talking about?
Must be.
And then that looks like it intersects right into here.
This connects with Blackberry Road up here.
Right.
No, something's backwards there.
It looks like that.
Yeah, Black Bear Road, right there.
Yeah, 'cause it looks like that same map there.
Yeah.
And if this is what GPS has, you can see where people might think that they could drive it.
Right, yeah.
You know, interesting, that map up there does not, the map that we have on the wall shows this Stargate spur, does not show this piece right
That's
here.
interesting, you're almost right about that, aren't you?
No, it shows
If you look at that, it just shows the two.
It doesn't show.
It shows even two.
But it shows this one going up.
But that's not Hemlock Hill Road according to this map.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Mine labeled that one as, this one here, this shows it right here, and this shows it as a road. I'm off the road as opposed to this Stargate Lane is the one that we're showing on that map. But this shows the road right there, between those
So
two.
that may be more than just a town trail.
Is that maybe the driveway?
Well, it's called
Hemlock Road.
Hemlock Road.
Well, Hemlock Hill.
Hemlock Hill.
So that map doesn't show it for no reason.
This one does show that being a trail.
And then here,
The map that I have at home, that I'm not sure what it does, it shows it as a class 3 road.
Really? We don't plow
We don't allow it. If it's class 3, we want to dump it, because they could make us start
Stay here.
taking care of it.
So,
Yeah, but I don't even have it on there.
yeah.
And that's 2007.
But I don't know, my map is big like that, but it's something different. I don't know if it shows, if the waterways or what the rivers are graded and stuff.
It's a more of a floodplain kind of map.
Bob's got my other map that they had given to us
Oh,
last.
yeah.
it gets more and more confusing. According to the map that I got, this is the Stargate Lane, which is a little strip of road up here, and then this is Little Hemlock Hill.
Okay.
See that?
And then they've got, well, look, Stargates are here.
That's another reason to go up and look at it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We'll go up and-
And
See,
now, oh, this is-
I see Stargaze Lane, but I didn't go out it.
Yeah, so that's, well, the 3 or 4 maps we got, there's a difference.
Okay, we'll check that out. Okay, number 12. We received notification from Norman Wright, he's the state appraiser. This is on the Simmons property, Simmons versus the town of Jamaica. Hearing will be heard on September 11th at 10 o'clock at the town office. Site visit will follow the hearing or be set at a mutually acceptable time. This hearing is a legal procedure. All testimony will be taped and all witnesses will be sworn in by the state appraiser, and the rules of evidence are followed in accordance with 3 VSA 801. He had appealed our decision, I believe it was last year, or the year before, I can't remember exactly. And now it's gone to the state appraiser, and
This is the Rossin.
this is the Rossin Bridge.
Rossin Road.
Right, Rossin Road Bridge.
Or just a bridge.
Yeah, it was a little bit of.
Well, we actually threw up the road.
Right, it's a road, and the bridge is on So we should make note that,
Do we want to have Paul represent us?
I'm going to call him and, but I want to find out first from the board and run this by him and see what his purpose, what he would like us to do, or what he thinks that the best for the town would be. So,
I think it's best to have Paul represent us at that hearing.
I do too.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay, I will.
And I think, given the business we're actually going into legal proceedings, this formalized, we would have a,
No, we should have him here, but I just want to make sure everybody was on board with that.
What's Paul's last name?
Gillies, Gillies.
Where is this hearing?
It's going to be here at the town office,
Oh, okay.
September 11th.
I think I'd like to be here at that.
Okay, so I will give him a call.
Do you know, did you notice the bridge was condemned? We give it up because it didn't want to spend any money, it's the only one that didn't get damaged.
That's because it didn't have a lot of traffic on it. That's
No,
why.
it didn't get washed at all.
I know, it's still standing there.
Same way as it was when the water went, before the water went through.
Right, back in this, it's still stood. Good bridge.
But I mean, Irene didn't do anything to it.
No, not to that one. So, okay, number 13. We started working on road signs, and oh gosh, I forgot to call Keith. I was going to ask him to come here, and I'm sorry.
well, I talked to him today about this.
I completely slipped my mind, as I almost slipped my mind for Susie.
Well, he came back and said, he asked me, if he was going to, I looked and you were, I said, I don't know. We talked, I asked him about this.
Because he wants to know if we should order more signs, because they have time to put more signs in. How many signs have they gotten with you? On that?
Yeah,
Brian?
they've received, I don't know how many, but they've done all the roads that are under our ordinance.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I think they've done Turkey Mountain Road. I've seen that they've done the bridge up here. I presume that they've done all the signs that he said he was going to do.
Right, I've noticed new signs up.
Yeah. What his concern was is he didn't want to order too many, more than he could handle in any small time frame,
Right.
because otherwise they'd be sitting in the garage
Rusty.
doing something right, or getting out of control, out of order, or whatever. So I would say that I think the total, if we were to get all the signs, was around 15,000. I presume he's probably spent maybe 1,000 or so, maybe a little bit more. My suggestion would be to authorize him to do another group of signs. That one of the groups of signs that we had talked about was, his original question was, do we need to have a sign at every intersection for a stop sign, even if that particular house or road only has one house on it? And I think we called Paul Gillis on that one.
I think you did.
I called Paul on that one to see what our legal responsibility was. He said that there is no statute requiring signs, stop signs, at every intersection. So number one, we don't have to worry about being held legally responsible if we don't have one. My suggestion at the time, and I think I still feel this way, is that any of our main roads, like West Hill Road, West Jamaica Road, or Pikes Falls Road, anytime a road comes to any of our major roads, we should have a stop sign.
Yes.
Well, I don't think we need to have a stop sign at every road.
One house road.
One house road. So my thinking is that maybe the next group of signs we ask Keith to put up are those stop signs that he feels, and I think he has a list of the ones that he feels meet that criteria. Does that
Brian,
make
do
sense?
you have anything to
Yeah.
add on that, or?
It's either that or we just pick one road and finish it. I mean, I just don't see the stop signs, but I don't want to have, well, we'll put 3 signs on this road and 2 signs over on this road. If we're going to pick a road,
Do the whole thing.
do the whole road the way we have to do it.
Like, for example, Pikes Falls Road.
Yeah, if we're gonna do 1 or 2 signs on Pikes Falls, let's keep going and just do the whole road. And that road will be done. And then we move on. But if you, I mean, I feel the stop signs may be more important. You get up in, up on West Hill or Mount Acres, there's
Yeah,
quite a few places up there that probably should have stop signs.
like at the top of the hill,
Yeah,
going in, I get the ends confused, is that Mount Acres at the top?
Mount
Oh,
Acres is the whole development up there. West Hill Road is the top one.
Right,
It goes to Jimmy
when you
Doss's.
go up by Helen's old, Grandfield's old place,
Yeah, yeah.
there's no stop signs either way.
Yeah.
Maybe
But there's not a lot of traffic coming from the right.
Sure, they usually go the other way.
Right.
But it's still onto the main
Yeah.
drag, so
maybe we could do stop signs at this point,
Notice that.
yeah, I mean,
and then pick a road next time when these
Well, if we
signs are done.
I think if we get the stop signs put in where they should be, we've pretty much covered ourselves the way we feel it ought to be, and then afterwards we just pick a road and,
Right.
What other signs do we need to put on some of the roads? We've already put the speed limit signs that we.
right, I don't know if there's places we need to put, you know, steep downhill or curvy or bridge or, we'll have to look into that, but I would like to, rather than just jump all over the place,
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
once we get the stop signs, just pick a road, do it.
So do we need Keith to let us know where he wants to put, I think he had a word for them, the ones at the curves, or, does he know what he wants to do yet?
I don't know that. I talked to him the other night, and he was asking about signs, and I said, well, you know, if you got time, I would think it would be a good time to do a batch, but I said, you know, I knew we'd be talking about it, so I said, we'll discuss it, but.
Okay, so it's a pleasure.
I'd like to move that we give Keith permission to order the next batch of signs at his discretion, rather than for us to micromanage it. You know, he wants to have just enough, he doesn't want to have, like he said, they want to have a big lot anyway, lying around.
Right.
Right, but I mean, I think we have to decide,
What we want first.
Stop signs.
yeah, do we want to do stop signs and get them done?
Yeah. One of the things that we've done is we bought Keith a computer. There's some templates out there for what is called a sign policy. And I think maybe what we should do is to have Keith take that template and come up with a sign policy for the town. And as part of that, template, identify places where these utility signs need to go. So I guess I would say let's authorize him to purchase as many stop signs as because we know where we want to put those.
Okay, it's neat.
Right,
knows
that's a given.
That's a given. He knows where they want to go. I would say let's authorize him to purchase stop signs and then ask him to come up with this plan to include other utility signs that we need along the roads. That's what I would be.
I mean, I would think you take like a road like Coleman Hills, it's a through road, would be more important to do something like that than it would be to say Goodyville.
Mhm.
Right.
That's not a through road now,
It's the
it
most
will
traveled
be,
roads,
but
right.
it's not. Or we'll say Worden Road, I mean, do we really need steep downhill sign? I mean, they gotta get up there first, so they're gonna know it's steep coming, or like your road.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that goes up is gonna know it's steep coming back down.
Right. South Hill is a whole different situation because they can come in without knowing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
so a through road, I think we should do, and then maybe after that, we take a road like, a lot of traffic. Because like, to be honest, like Cow Farm Road, what do we really need a whole bunch of signs up there for? And I think we gotta get that through to Keith too, that, and in his mind, that is a steep road, so do we need trucks and the steep downhill sign, and maybe we should say, well, we're not gonna go, those up there.
Because they can only get up one way anyway.
Yeah, they can only get up, and they have to go uphill first.
Right.
Like Bowman Hills.
Yeah, that would make
Yeah.
sense.
So I guess I would move that we authorize Keith to purchase as many stop signs as he needs to deal with the major intersections as he's identified.
And then maybe give us the
come up
plan
with a plan
on through roads
on
first.
through roads, right?
Do we have a
Makes
second?
sense. Sure, I'll second that, I like that.
Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, thank you, Lou and Brian.
I mean, we'll have some down on like Overgate, River Road.
Yeah.
We may need a sign or two.
Yeah, there are some reflections that we probably should get up there too, places where those should be.
But I just think a dead end road like up to your house is pretty self-explanatory.
Right, you're right, if you gotta go up.
And you gotta turn around and come right back down.
Brian, anything else?
No.
Lou?
No, the only thing I was wondering about, I was up with Wesley Amidon today looking at the project that he's working on for the NRCS, the debris removal project. And there are a few trees along West Jamaica Road that are outside the scope of these projects, trees that have fallen down, and they're sort of across the river, which can cause potential ice dams
In the spring.
in the spring, or places where other trees can get hung up. And there's a lot of disagreement about what to do with those trees. If you were to talk to the Fish and Wildlife people, they like to keep these trees in there because they have, some of these don't actually hit the water, they're above the water. But
They're gonna be in the water.
they're gonna be- my thinking, I'm wondering if, while Wesley's up there, if we may not want to have him cut a few of the ones that are across the river. And as opposed to removing them, the NRCS people who have been talking with the Fish and Wildlife people say that if you cut some of these trees down into 4-foot sections, they don't pose a threat to bridges downstream, or they don't pose a threat to causing dams along the way.
If you cut it in 4-foot sections, leave them where they lie.
Right. So I'm wondering if it makes sense to just have Wesley or his crew, while they're up there on these projects, they're right near where they work, to actually cut a couple of those trees down into 4-foot sections and just leave them on the riverbank. It doesn't hurt. And in fact, probably Fish and Wildlife would like that. But I think it would be to our benefit.
That was one of the things that I was thinking last year, just having to hiring someone to go through and just cut them up, so that when they do get down to that bridge, they're not sticking 18 feet in the air and then get bound up. You got 6 others coming right behind it. At least if it's 4 foot,
They can get through
it's
that.
gonna go through.
Right. So we could either do it, ask Wesley to do it while he's there, or we could just maybe put it out as another contract to just, for a logger perhaps, to go up the rivers and pick out the trees that are, maybe even do it in consultation with the A&R people. Because I'm real concerned that these,
Right.
these things are hanging from one side of the river onto the other.
It will cause a problem.
If they're perpendicular to if they're parallel to the river, there's no trouble because they can't cause other trees to cause a dam.
Mhm.
But I'm a little-
Well, in theory, with water rises, anything parallel to the water flow is going to pick up anyway, so it might not be a bad idea to lock those in the floor.
Right.
Because even if they're parallel, they're not going to deeper flow, but as the water comes up in the spring and they start moving, they could then become perpendicular.
Right. Now, it may be something that we have to think about doing all the time, you know, not just because of Irene, but maybe every 3 or 4 or 5 years,
Yeah.
we, you know, part of a river management strategy to prevent potential problems down, you know, into the future.
I mean, it's something we never thought of probably in the future, in the past.
Well, 99% of the time it'll take care of itself because there's not a bunch. But we do have to watch it now because with the flooding, it undermines so much stuff that there's going to be a lot more of them keep tipping in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And these are not covered by FEMA. This is not covered by NRCS. It's probably something we've got to think about doing on a regular basis. Maybe under the guidelines of A&R.
So what is your pleasure on the ones that?
What do you think?
now?
You think we ought to just wait a little bit and talk to A&R? Or the only reason I bring it up now is because we've got somebody in the river now.
I mean, I really shouldn't say. I mean, if it's just in that one spot that we're concerned with right now, I would think that it would probably be wise just to have them do it. But if you're looking, you know, where you're going to have 2 or 3 days of work, then I think it's only fair that it goes out as a
Is it
big
something that
project.
can be taken care of in like an hour or something like that, probably?
I would probably say a couple of hours.
I mean, I think it'd be worth it to do it now, as long as our construction folks are
Because they're going to be
there.
in there cutting anyhow.
Right, rather than hiring somebody coming
Sure.
back and forth, it's probably less costly to the town.
But if it's going to be 2 or 3
2 or 3
4 days work, I
Right,
think.
then we
No,
we
we're not
have to
doing
wait. Right.
It's typical that when you've got somebody doing a contract job for you, that the town, you know, might want a little bit extra done at their own expense. So I think it's pretty
That
typical.
would make sense in that case.
Okay.
Uh,
So what is your,
Do you want to authorize a small amount to, while he's in this area,
Define a small amount.
a couple of hours worth of work?
That would make sense to me. You think that'll do it?
I think so. From what
you
I'm-
have 2 hours to do it, Brian, to cut that?
I haven't
I
seen them.
haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I've seen them, but I don't know which ones he's talking about.
And there might be a couple more upstream. There's one little section upstream that there were a few trees hanging over that were relatively new.
I'm sure there's a lot like $250 or something like that maximum. I mean, I don't know. If you say a couple hours, then you get down in the water, and
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he charges an hour. I didn't ask him.
I don't know.
Maybe if we authorize $500.
I mean, it's whatever you
That
think.
seems reasonable,
And it may not even come to that, but
Up to $500.
$500, right.
there were things along that river that really concerned me as I look. As I say, A&R has less, or not A&R, the Fish and Wildlife people have much less concern about those things.
Yeah, they don't
we
care
have
about
to,
bridge.
I mean, we have to think of down the line.
No, we're putting in salmon traps.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Let's say that.
I'd make a motion that we authorize Lou to contract with Leslie Amadon for the removal of those trees that he believes are potentially dangerous, up to a limit of $500.
Removal or cutting?
I'm
Just
sorry,
cutting.
cutting,
Cutting into small sections.
yeah, cutting.
That's because you have 2 different things.
Exactly, but I just want to cut, but I figured you can go down and tell them $500, not to have to use it, but
Yeah.
you can use your judgment. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
What if you just asked him and he said, don't worry about it, I'll just do it?
That's a good contract.
Wow.
I mean, he might.
If there's a lot of work coming this way, that should be, I'm not saying he should, but.
You could use the right wording.
I'll
So
try.
I would move that we allow Lou, on behalf of the select
To
board,
negotiate.
to negotiate the contract with Leslie for the cutting of those problem trees.
And I might have to talk to Bob about maybe contacting the A&R guys.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, you did the right thing.
Yeah.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Yes, a couple of things.
Okay.
Update, first of all, on the HMGP this morning.
What is that?
Hazard mitigation grant program, the buyout.
Oh, okay.
Yep, got a phone call this morning, I got an email this morning, the people that are running the HMGP program have produced a hotline now. So you heard this already.
No.
No, I just think it's funny.
But then they produced a hotline so that towns and individual families, affected homeowners, property owners, can call to find out the status of their particular case.
So good.
So I called them this morning, and at 3:15 I called into the hotline. I get a call back, and I was very surprised that they actually responded that fast. But I was given the following information. All the paperwork, including the paperwork for the Community Development Block Grant, the CDBG, Community Development Block Grant Program, has been submitted and is progressing moving smoothly. That CDBG will provide for the rest of the 25% that we were going to have to, the families were going to basically have to give up on.
Right.
And it does, at first it was explained to me, it didn't sound like it, but today it made it sound like it. That will include our 25% plus the homeowners' 25% that they were going to give up. So that was good news.
What was our 25?
We have to pay, of the appraisal, we have to pay 25% of the acquisition. In other words, it was the appraisal plus the cost of closing fees and clearing the land and sealing up the wells. Okay, of that total thing, there was a 25% that was going to be on the town. 75%. Was that?
I didn't think the town had anything.
I didn't think so in the beginning that we didn't have to pay.
The way it was set up, the way that with the appraisal fees, it was going to work out that
That wasn't going to cost the
it
town anything.
wasn't going to cost the town. But what's taken place, because parenthetically, Stratton's going to pick up this other thing for the towns. What's happened now is the state, through the Community Development Block Grant, is going to pay the remaining 25%. So that the families are going to get the other 25% that they were scheduled to give up.
Okay, what about the town?
Well, this covers everybody. This makes it whole for the town and the families.
Okay.
Because the original plan, the families were going to get 75% of the appraised value, which was better than nothing.
Right, I remember
And
that.
built out of that, we were able to get the rest of the stuff that needed to be done using that math. Now the state has come along, primarily not so as for us because ours is pretty obvious, but other places where they actually have to knock down buildings and tear down places, it was kind of expensive for the towns. So this 25% is going to cover that fee as well. That's moving forward as well. So it's a combination of community development block grants and Vermont Housing Trust. So according to the Womenstock Committee, everything's moving smoothly towards sometime between September and October. They expect to have all the paperwork done. They're currently anticipating that they will tell the towns to go ahead with the purchase property between October and December. Remember that we were originally told April, then May, then June, and August. Now it's,
Well, there's a lot of paperwork to this project.
there has
It really has.
it's been, but we're moving along, and she's very optimistic. So that's where we are. At this point, they are saying to us that we should be expecting between October and December, which sounds to me like November.
So that 25% the town was going to lose?
No, the way it worked out
Because
is,
it didn't seem like we were gonna,
the way, I'll have to show you that in the paper, the way the appraisal went out, because of the individual homeowners were going to lose 25%.
right.
I'd have to show you, I'd have to put the paper right in front of me, because I can't take that off the top of my head.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But everything we had done since February has gone well, and everything seems to be going okay. I did the site visit, I told you about that. Now it's lined up, and it seems to be going okay, and sometime before
So
December.
it's just wait.
That's all we can do. You know. But I thought I'd give you a heads up on that.
Will our four people on Back Street, will they be notified there's a hotline?
I sent an email. Yep, I sent a small email today. Yep. Okay, another situation. I have been in contact with the people who are the radio contractors. I'm going to rephrase that. The people with whom we have a contract to ping
For the
repeater of the mountain.
highway guys?
Right. And he sent me not a bid as such, but he sent me
Proposal?
a proposal for, to bring our radios, just from back, we had to bring our radios into compliance with the narrow band by the
Right.
January of 13. So what he's done is, he's done some things in his corporate business that resulted in some used radios that are narrow band.
They couldn't reprogram the ones that they had?
No, I gave him a list of all the numbers and what.
Because I know some aren't reprogrammable.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, so what happens is, instead of like $500 for a radio, is like 150. We need 6 for the trucks, and 2 for the portables. A portable here, I think there's a portable over at Keith's. Including travel here and the installation, the total bill comes to $1690. And that will get us in compliance and get us the radios installed and programmed.
It's not bad, because the fire department just had theirs done. And
Yeah.
that's about the right price for
Well,
it.
the difference between this and getting new ones is 150 for the used ones, 500
Right, there's.
approximately for new radios with a new narrow band situation. So at any rate, so he sent this to me. I told him I'd present it to you guys tonight, and we don't have a lot of time to make a decision.
That's not with that fleet, is it?
This is Burlington Communications. Well, backing up,
I thought we were with fleet.
there was a Fleetwood, something like that, something. Anyway, apparently some time back, this company either bought into or someone annexed the Fleetwood, and they handle the contract
Oh, okay.
portion of it, but Burlington Communications handles the hardware part.
Oh, okay.
And so I asked him, by the way, to get a copy of the contract we have for our use of the repeater. And he's going to, as soon as they can locate that, he's going to send me a
So we
copy.
pay about $98 a month.
I'm saying,
98?
yeah, he said something, he thought it was like $16 a radio, but I'm not sure, he wasn't sure.
It's $98 a month.
$98 a month, yeah. So he's going to send me a contract, so we have a copy of it, and we'll look it over in case there's anything else we want to address. But this is just a hardware component.
Okay, and it does have to be, I know it has to be done.
Yeah, we don't have a choice, it's got to be done, unless we decide to just use, not use radios. It's not a flare.
But they need the radios.
Yeah, oh yeah, we do have to
They
do it.
need radios.
Yeah. So that will help a lot, and then he can get that. I didn't give me a time frame, because this is just as far as, I didn't tell him to go ahead,
Mhm.
but I wanted to get a sense of select board. Does that seem reasonable?
That seems reasonable.
Terry and I had a discussion about whether this needs to go out to bid, and since we have a contract with these guys already, we're just making an equipment change.
Right,
So I don't think it needs to go out to bid.
no.
Plus, it's only,
It's only
$700.
$69. No, it wouldn't have to go up to bid.
So if you will say so, I will contact him tomorrow and put the wheels in motion.
Can you have a motion?
I'll move that.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Okay, motion carried. Would you, let me just pass that before.
Sure.
Thank you.
Look at.
Should we get better reception to each other?
Well, he should. He's saying he's done a new thing with the repeater. So we're in like a group that he's got a private. He was trying to explain it to me, but I was doing 3 other things at the same time. But his anticipation for getting a better service. Now, Keith said in the last week or so it's gone really bad because they've been making changes they've been upgrading the system, and our radios just aren't keeping up. So I'll ask him to get on it as quickly as possible.
Yeah,
As Keith's saying, it's been
tell
difficult.
them we need it fast.
Yeah.
We need it yesterday.
Okay, I'll tell him we need it yesterday.
Okay.
I have another thing. I have actually 2 minutes.
You said only 2.
Lied through my teeth. Well, I had to, then I remembered the other 2. I talked to Keith this morning, and we talked about this before, to set up a formal system to track the stuff that we haul. There is no formal system in our system, in our town system. We're talking about how to make sure it's tracked. The reason for that is because FEMA wants to see everything tracked. Their phrase, cradle to grave. If we're hauling,
You mean our town guys call it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we talked about that today, like trip tickets and things. He said most of what's been going on now, that he's been doing since the winter, has really been just the town stuff, it hasn't been FEMA stuff. So we're okay right there. But FEMA's going to want to see everything.
They're going to want to see everything they
Exactly.
do about it. Right.
Moving on to the last thing which FEMA wants to see everything of, we need, as a town, a written procurement policy. It turns out when we do closeout, which is coming up here whenever we get our closing projects out, they're going to want to see a copy of our procurement policy. If the town doesn't have a procurement policy, then we use the states. If the state doesn't have one, then we use the federal one. Now, the federal one that we've been saying is if it's over $100,000, you have to go out to bid. We certainly don't need to do that on a town level, but we might want to say if it's over 15, say 10,000, we might want to go to bids. Under 10, we can do it locally at the board level. But we need to have a policy, we need to have it in writing, because they're going to ask for it when I start closing these out. Now, we talked about this last year.
We don't have one right now. So we don't have one.
No, we talked about this last year, and the mood of the community, the mood of the select board was that we didn't need one. Now we need one.
Right. Because of the FEMA money.
Exactly, we need.
So basically it's for FEMA projects.
Well, it's going to be for everything we do. It's got to be global for everything we do as a town. We procure things, we should have this policy. And that policy will then be displayed to FEMA to show that we actually have a policy. Now, I talked to Dinah Reed at Wyndham Regional, because Wyndham Regional has been such a major asset to us. And I asked her if she could look around some of the other towns to find out if they have procurement policies upon which we could build our own. Okay, so we're in discussion with her about that, as they sort of expect that y'all don't want to go on this, because we need to do it yesterday.
Well, Wyndham Solid Waste has a procurement policy, I could show you.
If you can get a copy of that.
I have it on my computer.
Okay.
Great. See, that's the kind of thing we need to do so that we can have something in writing
Okay.
going
It's
forward.
something we have to have, then we're going to have.
We do. And what we'll do is, and I'm thinking now, what we're going to do is, I think we've had an unofficial procurement policy for years. We are going to write it out and make it in code, so that we can demonstrate that this is the policy that we've had in place. We now have it just written out for them. If that makes perfectly good sense to everybody.
Okay.
Maybe not. It's good.
Not No, that sounds, no, that's, we have to have it done.
Yeah, I think we really
We have
need
the
to.
choice.
Yeah, we're really going to be in trouble if we don't. And that's all I have.
Okay.
Sorry.
Right, Andy, you have anything?
Back Street, it's still closed, right?
Well, technically it is to
The
residents.
Right.
Where did the residents only sign go?
Did that get stolen?
We had a residence only in Pikes Falls and it was stolen.
Now this
weeks
one's down
ago.
too?
Yeah. I meant to bring it up last. We get a lot of traffic on that road. And yesterday I was coming back from the dump. I don't use the road that much. And there was a kid, like a 5-year-old kid with a helmet, his dad and his mother behind him. And I stopped and I asked if they lived around here, and they said no.
What kind of vehicle?
They're on
Bicycles.
bicycles.
Oh, bicycles.
But the little kid he just learned to ride a bike. And I said, this road is closed. I'm one of the selectmen, and I'm supposed to tell you that for safety's sake. And he said, okay, but the road closed sign is still there. And my wife suggests that a sign to go along with it saying, this means you. But anyway, people are, and they're racing over it, some of them. And when you get up by Franny's,
It's tricky.
Yeah,
she's
that's
put
tricky.
some flowers here and
Yep.
there, kind of.
Yeah.
She
And
kind of
there's still that
bottlenecks
little-
right into that. That's where someone would get hurt. But I was just curious whether Keith took the sign, or
Probably somebody,
I looked for it under the bridge.
Well, the one over at Pikes Falls was stolen at the same time the other was, and they didn't put it back.
Okay.
At this end of it, the Pikes Falls, at the other end, does have the residents only. It's just this one that
right,
nobody
this
sees.
one's going on. Maybe if we did a new one, we have to put it on a pole and put it in the ground.
Could be, because
It was
when they
just
were
leaning
stolen,
there, it was very-
Yeah, that thing, we used to have to pick it up.
It was nailed, well, the one that was on Pikes Falls was nailed. They just pulled it down because it was kind of,
This one was just leaned up against the road
Yeah.
close sign, which was very easy to
could be, you know.
take away. The signs are expensive.
They look like a nice sign.
Yeah.
I can't remember how much they are. Do you remember how much those signs are, Brian? Like $100 or more?
Depending on what they have on.
I'll look again under the bridge and on the side of the, maybe someone just tossed it over into the stream bank, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
Or with some dorm.
The other, and to speaking to that, do we know when that telephone pole is going to come out?
No idea.
I did say that I would call CBPS.
Yeah.
We know, how are
Is
you?
it with
Well,
the,
now, yeah, Tim Robbins.
yeah, Because that does put a sort of a
It's,
question.
that's a very
Yeah.
tricky area
Gotta
right
get some
there.
narrow right there.
Right, so you'll take care of that one?
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
Okay, thank you.
And just one other thing, my neighbor Tracy Payne was up this weekend, and I know I probably should have told her to ask the treasurer, but she was concerned that she has to pay her tax bill again.
Was she,
I told her I thought that she would come to the abatement hearing, or,
well, I can't answer for Terry, but I would assume that they are still owners of the property, that they would have to, the listers would reassess the property, and they would have to pay that part of it.
Has the property been reappraised?
Did she get a bill?
she does owe, I think, a tax bill.
Okay,
She
so,
must have, because she mentioned it.
okay,
I've
I'll-
been just watching the barn, she's trying to sell the barn, so I'll open it for her.
let me check with
She just
Terry
mentioned
tomorrow.
in passing that. Probably should have just said something.
It's possible that the lister said that because we're gonna buy it, we don't have to reappraise it, but maybe.
I thought they did the appraisal. I think what's happening is everybody on that little strip of land really thought this was gonna be over last spring.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's going on and on and on. I don't think they planned that.
It's not just here though, it's on the news today.
Yeah, let me check with
Yeah.
Terry and then see, because legally they still own it
Yeah.
until it's purchased by us.
I was pretty sure they reappraised those things pretty seriously.
It should only be for land.
It's
not
just
for
the land,
building.
right.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be that much.
No, but still, when you got nothing, it feels like a lot.
I know, but you
Yeah.
can't do it for one.
No,
or the other.
I completely understand, but I can understand her
We all
frustration.
have taxes to pay, and
Yeah.
they still.
Some
own
people
land.
just have land.
Yeah.
Right.
Some people will just have a road
Seems harsh, but
with their
It
land.
does, but I mean,
it's strange,
It seems harsh,
just
but
bizarre,
Yeah.
we can't, we have to keep moving on.
right.
a lot of people interested in that barn, or?
It surges. They'll come love to look at it, and then once they realize how much work it is, I think, to take it apart and
Didn't
move
she
it.
have somebody who was lined up at one time to take it?
A number of people, and then, I don't know what happens. No, that's all I have.
Nothing else? Okay, the only thing I have is a little thank you note from Sarah Dixon. Thank you so much for the generous scholarship of $200. With all the expenses of college and higher education, it will be very helpful in paying for books, supplies, and contributing towards my ability to pay tuition. I greatly appreciate your time and consideration. Sincerely, Sarah Dixon.
Oh, it's
That's
nice.
sweet,
It's
yeah.
actually written
Yeah, it's
on a
handwritten.
piece of paper.
It was.
She probably doesn't want us to let her friends know that she can send us a text or something.
That's all I have. Thank you, Susie, for filling in.
Yes, thank you.
Appreciate it very much, and we need a motion to adjourn.